Hey, Billy Glisson with PowerCore 360. In this video, I'm talking with former youth national team head coach and Front Range Volleyball head coach Jim Miret about how to develop power in the volleyball swing. We will discuss what we see top hitters in the world doing to create maximum power. All right, so we're going to talk about arm speed today, right? Arm speed, hit the ball harder, you have to have your arm moving faster, right? Isn't that what you've learned playing volleyball?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody wants to hit harder, and that's cool. We want you to hit harder, but there's a couple things we need to consider about arm speed. Arm speed can come just from your arm, or it can come from your entire body. The other thing is, so if we use just your arm, right, we're using just the muscles around your arm, your shoulder, maybe the top of your chest, and you can swing hard that way, right? And most volleyball players grow up learning how to swing their arm, right? Mm-hmm. It's simple, it's easy to teach. If we start telling you that, you know what, there's other muscles in your body, your chest, your back, your abs, your legs, those are engines, and if we use more of those, you'll actually create more arm speed by kind of creating your body to turn like a slingshot or like a whip. If we can use more of your body, that's going to create more arm speed. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. The other side of it is how well is it tolerated. So a lot of athletes can hit hard just with their arm, but it doesn't mean long term they're going to tolerate it very well. Oftentimes there's shoulder pain, shoulder issues, back pain, depending on how that athlete learns how to use their body. Make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to start today and talk about a couple of different things. Number one, there are two ways to create force. There's muscles, right? Everybody knows about the muscles. So if we take this arm, and let's say you were 9 or 10 years old, and we're teaching you how to hit a serve, hit the ball over the net overhand, right? And so what you probably learned how to do is something like this, right? Like you just go through a floater for me. Just show me a floater.
How I learned it?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool, but now, and a lot of volleyball players, you just did what? You stepped, you turned your hips. That's wonderful. That's what we want athletes to do. Mm-hmm. A lot of volleyball players start off with the coach just saying, hey, I want you to be successful, which means I want you to get the ball over the net and play. So they minimize the movement. They throw the ball up, and it's like throwing darts. It's this simple movement, and it's easy to learn, okay? And as you get older, you can hit harder that way because there's a couple muscle groups in there, right? Your tricep that runs from there to there, which is a really strong muscle. And so when you fire that arm up there, it's your tricep working, okay? So if we go and strengthen your tricep, you're going to hit the ball harder, right? If we work on your shoulder muscles, your lat muscles, right? So when you're doing a lat pull down in the gym and you use this arm, this is your lats working down here, and your tricep, once again, those are muscles generating that force, okay? Cool, right? You can hit hard that way, and a lot of people have success hitting that way, right? How would we make your arm create more force? I already told you one of them. Well, you could do what you did. You can step, right? When you step, you use your leg muscles. When you turn your hips, you use the muscles around your pelvis, your hips, your butt muscles, big, strong muscles. You use your core, your chest, your arm. It's more engines. More engines means more power, right? To create more force. You're going to tolerate it better because there's more motors doing the work versus when we just do this, tricep, lats, a little bit of shoulder muscles back here. Those are not very big muscles, right? But they can create some power. They don't necessarily tolerate it very well long term. So we're going to talk about some other ways of creating force that are maybe better, okay?
So the fascia is this connective tissue that's linking different muscle groups together through the body.
Correct.
Is that accurate?
It's just an outer layer. It's right under the skin, and it holds everything in place, but it's very elastic. So it stretches, and then on its own it releases. So if I move my arm in this direction, the fascia on this side of the joint gets stretched, and it wants to just pull the arm back on its own without me trying to make those muscles work, okay? If I do anything with my body here, like the high elbow setup and the easy swing, there's not a lot of fascia here involved. So once again, this is a lot more muscular action, smaller muscles. If I can take her arm, and now she rotates her arm back, and now she keeps her kind of hips there, and she rotates her shoulders open. Now we're taking the fascia across the abdominal muscles that go from this arm down across her chest to this hip, and some of those actually go down across into the leg down here. We're taking these big bands of connective tissue that are all stretching, and they're loading up. And on their own, when she gets in that position and fires her hip, all that big stretch is going to create this shortening that's going to pull her shoulder around, pull her arm around with much more force and a lot less energy to happen, or a lot less energy consumed from the muscles. Muscles are still working. They don't have to work as hard.
So So when we look at international hitters in video, we see that their legs come up behind them, a lot of them. So is this engaging a fascial line that's going all the way down through their legs?
Right. From the front perspective, we're going to put her in the ideal, what we consider the ideal best position for a hitter to get in, male or female, at any level, okay? And we're going to call it a reverse power C position. Kira, turn and face me, okay? So from the side view from the camera, what I'm going to ask her to do is take your arm back like you're getting ready to hit, okay? So we've now turned her shoulders are in this plane, her hips are in this plane. We've taken, and now when the arm comes back up here and really rotates back right before you hit, we actually have this connective tissue, this fascia that goes from her hand across the front of her chest and shoulder, down across to her hip, and actually goes down her leg and actually down into the foot. So right now, when she rotates back and takes that foot up behind her, athletes that are really good at this, they've figured out how to load rotationally, okay? So all that connective tissue right now is being stretched, okay? When you see the really good international players or even some good club and college players, they'll kick the left leg as a right-handed hitter. When they kick that, that creates even quick stretch on all this connective tissue, and on its own, that kick of the leg, because everything's stretched, turns the hip, turns the shoulder, it all comes through. Some of that's muscle action, but a lot of that is connective tissue. It's fascia shortening, loading and shortening on its own to create this whip. Once again, if we're playing an event or, we want to save as much energy as we can. We want to get strong, but we want the connective tissue to be loaded, okay? So there are these lines. If you'll face the camera, once again, go into that position, so rotate back, okay? We get up into that position, her shoulder goes up to external rotation. Once again, we have these lines of connective tissue from the front side of the arm, across the chest, going down, just like you can see on her shirt. We've got these lines of connective tissue that go down there, go down into the pelvis, go down into the side of the leg, all the way back. They're being stretched right now. They're doing this, and just the muscle forces are pulling her into that position, stretching and loading, and then all of a sudden now when you go in the air, you can't think through, make all this stuff happen, but when you get into these positions, all of a sudden your body just swings and it's like, wow, okay? We not only have, we've talked about fascia and connective tissue and muscle on the front side. The muscles on the front side of her body create the force to pull forward, right? These things are being stretched, muscles and connective tissue. They shorten to pull her arm forward. But now we got to talk about injuries. Injuries to the shoulders don't typically happen on going back. They go when the arm's speeding forward, we're trying to slow the arm down. If I'm working her and she's just going, just do your high elbow for me, okay? Yeah, and she's doing a high elbow and she's just swinging up here, we also have connective tissue down the back of the arm and into the shoulder. But if I'm just swinging predominantly with my arm, I just have the muscles back here, rotator cuff, small muscles down here, and some connective tissue going here to slow the arm down. Once again, most injuries in hitting and overhand throwing happen on the deceleration, the slowing down and the braking. So in this case, what we want to do is we don't just want the arm working. Go into your reverse power C, rotate for me, okay? We've loaded up the front side, the leg kicks, this all starts to rotate, the arm comes forward, okay? And as the arm comes forward, now we have connective tissue and muscles back here going from here. They go down across her back, into her butt, down the side of her leg. Those things are now stretching, going the opposite direction. As her arm goes forward, they're stretching and helping her slow the arm down. Instead of all the forces being on the shoulder, all the connective tissue from her right hand to her right shoulder to her lower side of her lower back, her left buttock, her hamstring, all those muscles are helping slowing it down. So we're spreading the forces out. So that's why we want the whole body to be engaged. It's stronger. When we get the fascia loaded and it works, there's less work, less calories being burned, less energy being expended, and it's safer to slow the arm down. Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to be updated when we put out new content, please hit the subscribe button below.